Member for Fox Hill, you rise.
Speaker, I wanted to revisit something I had spoken to earlier, arising out of the intervention of the opposition spokesman on foreign affairs with regard to this budget book, where he pointed out at the time that the allocations, there was a variance of about, when I looked at the book, the variance is $553,000. And what I wanted to repeat was that the explanation is the same as what I said. I wanted to confirm that fact, that notwithstanding the figures, the 1.2 million and the variance of 553,000, that the explanation from the Ministry of Finance is the same, that the commercial rate would not be charged for the repatriation flights, that the flight cost would be at cost and not at the commercial rate, and therefore they would be able to have a reduction in the amount of money which was allocated for that particular vote. So I did have a look at the book, and the figures which he read do in fact appear to be correct, but the explanation is the same for the $553,000 in the variance. When I looked at the book, it said 553,000 was the variance. Okay. Yeah, the book is there. Anyway, the explanation is the same, whatever the figures actually turn out to be. I was just trying to do it from memory. No, it's not necessary. The explanation is the same. Secondly, the point that the member raised with regard to the carnival, where he said that the carnival was a $9 million celebration for the third anniversary of the Progressive Liberal Party's election to office. And the reason I revisit that is because I just came back from, I had been called by some of the leaders of one of the groups that has organized a company to produce souvenirs and costumes for the Junkanoo Carnival. And they are looking for support because they have, in fact, started a commercial enterprise which is meant to tie into the tourist sector and to Bahamians who want to participate in the Junkanoo Carnival. The distinction being that Junkanoo, as we know it at Christmas time, is an entertainment spectacle where people look on, and this is something in which people participate. And what I don't want to do, and I want to reinforce, is not to minimize or trivialize what is being attempted here. What is being asked is to rely on a new paradigm which would provide work and commercial activity for those who are involved in the design of Junkanoo and the building of Junkanoo costumes, to morph this into something which can go year-round. And it is a real disservice to try and dismiss what is being what we're trying to do with this by simply saying it's a celebration for a third anniversary. There's no connection, there's no politics in this. As a matter of fact, the Junkanoo groups themselves came together on this. The two great leaders of Junkanoo. The last time I saw Winston Gus Cooper was in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, and I made sure and I got a picture with me standing between Gus Cooper and Vola Francis. And they had both come back from the Junkanoo, from the carnival in Brazil. And they said that the time was to make Junkanoo, make it possible for Junkanoo to support economic activity for Junkanooers year-round. And that is why they went to the Prime Minister and said, could the government mobilize its resources to try and convert this into a year-round activity? And when I was called yesterday by, I think it's Brian Gibson, to come down and actually see what Arthur Gibson, to see what they're actually doing on the scene, and to see the women. There are five or six women at sewing machines for putting together the costumes and designing the souvenirs. It is really an amazing thing to see. I've spoken since that to the chair of BAIC and asked him if he would go down and see what it is they're doing. so that they can provide support. We'll talk to the Venture Capital Fund. I've asked Mr. Andrew McKinney, who is the consultant on the Heads of Government meeting coming up, to go down tomorrow and see the souvenirs they're producing. Because I really think we have to make a special effort to make Junkanoo a success year-round. And that is what this is designed to do. So I don't want it to be trivialized at all, and I wanted to make this special intervention to support the work they're doing. They're looking forward to the Prime Minister coming down to see what they're doing, to the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Culture, to coming and actually seeing the enterprise. But it is really an important and a new paradigm for this country. And I really wish that Bahamians would support it, that the tourist sector would get involved in it to make sure that it's a success. And all these young men and young women can have a future with the art which they know instinctively and which they can be trained in and support themselves and make a living. That's what this is about, not a celebration for any political event. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.